Okay, this is the route run through for the Ambleside Fairfield Horseshoe weekend. So I've just zoomed out of the map a bit so that you can see where Ambleside is in relation to Windermere train station, which is here. So it's a short bus or taxi ride along this road. It takes about 20 minutes, I think, if I remember rightly. So I'm going to zoom in, see if I can click away that black box. So Ambleside is a really great place to stay because, especially for your first visit to the Lake District, because it's not too big. Windermere itself is the biggest town in the Lake District, and to be honest, if you're going to the Lake District, you kind of want to feel like you're getting away from it all a bit. But Ambleside has a lot of facilities and shops. There's even a cinema. There are lots of lovely restaurants, lots of lovely pubs. So it's really great for that. And it's on the bus network. It's really central in the bus network. You can get buses north up to Grasmere and Keswick. You can get buses into Langdale. You can get buses into Coniston or down to Windermere. So I'm going to zoom in a bit more than I usually would. Oh, why won't that black box go away? Okay, there we go. So this is Ambleside. So it is like a fairly good-sized village, I suppose. So you're not going to feel like you're in the absolute wilds, but you're going to be in a village with lots of shops, and it's quite busy, but it's really, really nice. There's loads of things you can do there if it's raining as well. So let me talk to you about the Fairfield Walk. The Fairfield Walk, you start off by following this main road down towards Rydal. So you're heading north out of Ambleside, you walk on this main road, stay on the left hand side of the road because the pavement cuts off as you pass a certain point. You come to Scandale Bridge, so you cross the river and then you come off, you cross the road back again and then you come along this track which heads to Rydal. So this is really picturesque and really lovely. It's quite a flat track, and the Fairfield Horseshoe is one of those classic Lake District walks that everyone has to do at some point or other. It's basically a horseshoe walk, so it's a circular walk but in the shape of a horseshoe, so you're going to be coming out from Ambleside and back round the other side. I wonder if I should zoom out actually and show you that. Yeah, so you're going to be basically coming up around the top. I'm going to zoom in and show you it again. But it's a horseshoe, that's why it's a Fairfield Horseshoe. So you come to Rydal where there's some toilets and a nice cafe, and then you head up here, and the first fell is Knapscar. This is probably the steepest climbing you're going to be doing all day, and once you're at the top you get fantastic views over Rydal Water and Windermere to the south as well, and it is lovely. But once you're up, you're doing more gradual climbing then. You're climbing gradually for the rest of the morning until you get to the top, which is the top of the horseshoe, which is Fairfield. And it's pretty easy navigation at this point because you're on the ridge and you just keep following it along. And as long as you don't end up going steeply downhill, you know you're pretty much heading in the right direction. So this bit is the easy bit in terms of navigation. It can get pretty windy up here and there isn't much shelter. This bit is a lovely long stretch. You can see that it goes steeply off on each side there. So you follow it round, you go up Great Rig. This walk, I think it covers about 8 Wainwright fells. So you tick off quite a few fells if you can manage to do this one. And then this is the top of the horseshoe, Fairfield, which is one of the major fells in the area. So you're basically coming around this loop here and then you're going to come back down. Now the tricky thing about Fairfield is it's really hard to navigate when you're at the top because it's very flat and it seems really obvious, you just follow it round, but it's so easy to end up going this way. And when I did it, it got cloudy at the top of Fairfield, so it made it even harder to navigate. Even in clear weather you have to be really careful to make sure that you're going on this path and not this path, or down here or something. And we ended up tagging along with some guys who actually had a GPS on them, and even with the GPS they managed to almost go the wrong way until he checked it and thought, hang on, this doesn't seem right, and then checked it and realised he was going the wrong way. So just keep checking the compass, keep checking with people around you and making sure that you're definitely heading in the right direction. The problem is with Fairfield is that the summit is up here, round about here, so you have to sort of come off to come to the summit and then you have to come back again. So I think that's where people go wrong, because then they think that they're going this way. Yeah, I think I've made my point. You get the, get the idea. Okay, so you're going to be following it around. You're going to be following this all the way down, and you come up and down and up again, up to Hart Crag, and then down again, and then up again onto Dove Crag. But once you get to this point, this is quite a steep downhill bit. But once you reach this point, you've reached the wall, which is a really, really long dry stone wall, which you basically follow all the way back to Ambleside. So once you've reached that wall, you can relax in terms of navigation, because you're basically following the wall all the way down. And it doesn't really matter which side of the wall that you go on, because there's paths either side. So just do whichever seems best, or just follow whichever is clearest on the map. So here it seems to be showing that to go on this side rather than this side. And you go down, you follow it down, you go over High Pike and Low Pike, and then you can either stay against the wall or you can come down onto this more distinct path, and probably a little bit more easier path at this point, because you're coming right down back to Ambleside here. And follow it down here to Low Sweden Bridge, which is a pretty little bridge. You end up at Nook End Farm, and you come down this road past the university, and then you end up here, and just round about here is the pub called, I think it's the Golden Rule pub. Well, I'll put it in the PDF anyway, which is one of the best pubs in Ambleside. It's a locals pub, it's really good, it's really cosy, so you might want to stop in there and have a celebratory pint. Or lemonade. Okay, so the second day is you're going to be going up Wansfell. So Wansfell is here to the east. So you can either go up this path here, or you can go up this path here. But basically you're heading up to this way. And it's a steep climb up, but it doesn't take too long because it's not that high in comparison to the rest of them. When you get up here, you can see loads of fells. You can see into Langdale, the Langdale Fells. You can see Windermere again, and it's an absolutely fantastic viewpoint. It really is. It's wonderful. Something to be aware of is that the actual summit of Wansfell, if you are desperately wanting to get to the summit of Wansfell, it's not here. It's further back. It is around here, I think. Yep, 487. So it's about a mile off the route, so if you wanted to do that, you're going to have to double back or come down this way. But this is a more picturesque viewpoint, to be honest with you. And then you follow it down Nanny Lane, which is a very clear, wide, stony track into Troutbeck Village. And then you turn right down this road, and in Troutbeck there is a little post office where you can get refreshments usually. So you're coming down the road, and then you are crossing over, you're coming down this one to Town End, cross over by this little footbridge here, cross over this busy road here, and then come up the minor road here towards Fewsthwaite Yeat? Yeat? I don't know. Anyway, you're only on that road for a little while. You come off this path here. You come past Far Orist Farm. So these paths are going to take you through the fields towards Orist Head, which you follow through this way. It can be a little bit boggy through these farm fields, to be honest, but you're not going to be doing them for very long. So you come up to near Orist, you come down the road here, and then you come along these paths and you're at Orist Head. So Orist Head is a very small little hill but it's really close to Windermere Station, which is just here, and it is the viewpoint which first converted Wainwright to loving the Lake District so much, and it's a very famous, lovely viewpoint. There's loads of benches on there. You can actually look over and see the Fairfield Horseshoe if you look north, and yeah, it's lovely. It's really, really lovely, and it's so close to the station, so a lot of people just walk up there and come back down, but you've walked a much better way. You come back down this way, down very clear tracks, and cross this busy road, and the station is literally here. And at the station you've got Booth's supermarket, where you can get, there's a cafe there, and you can get provisions, and just in front of the big car park here in the station entrance is Lakeland, where there's also a restaurant and a cafe. So if you need to have some food, you can grab it there, and then you get the train back to London. So there you go.